In the fall, certain sections of your lake are going to become unfishable, and you need to avoid them at all costs if you want to catch bass. This is due to a phenomenon called the fall turnover. Basically, during the summer, the water near the surface is going to be warmer and have more oxygen in it because it's closer to air. The water at the bottom of the lake is going to be cooler and not have as much oxygen because it's not near the surface. This creates a thermocline, which is basically a line where the high oxygen and low oxygen water mix. However, during the fall, water temperatures start to cool down, and that cools off the surface of the water, causing the water to actually sink and mix with the water at the bottom of the lake. This means you're going to have high oxygen and low oxygen water mixing, and you'll have pockets of low oxygen water that's actually deadly to the bass. Wherever you find these high oxygen and low oxygen areas on your lake, the bass are going to be very tough to catch, and really the only consistent way to avoid these areas is to find places where the thermocline never set up on your lake. This usually means you need to be looking in less than 15 feet of water on the upper end of your lake or in the very backs of creeks. In this video, I'm going to show you how I break down these areas in the fall to catch a ton of fish very quickly and overcome these tough fall turnover conditions. Let's get into it. Really quick guys, I want to let you know about the Black Friday sale happening over at coretackle.com. Now through December 1st, you can get up to 40% off all of your orders at coretackle.com. The more you buy, the more you save, and there are a few hooks I would highly recommend picking up as we go into these cooler winter months. One is the 3/8 ounce hover rig you've seen in this video. Another is the strut head. It's a mid-strolling head designed for the jig head minnow technique, and it rocks the minnow a little bit more than your standard head, so you don't have to shake your rod quite as much. It comes in a 3/0 hook and a 5/0 hook, so you can fish those smaller or bigger minnows, and it's been putting a bunch of good fish in the boat for me this year. Last but not least, definitely pick up some of the 2/8 ounce tush hooks. They're perfect for umbrella rigs. The tush hook hides all of the lead inside of your soft plastic swim baits, giving your umbrella rigs a little bit different look, and you can stock up on a bunch of them with the discounts we're offering at coretackle.com. Definitely check out our Black Friday sale today, link down in the description. So I got my graph pulled up here, and as you can see, I have a ton of waypoints already from just graphing around. I actually caught a solid 3-pounder in this area and a bunch of smaller fish, and it's definitely a grind to get bit right now, but I found a few ways to kind of make it happen. Again, the lake is turning over, and so whenever that happens, the oxygen-rich water at the top of the water column mixes with the water at the bottom of the lake that has basically no oxygen. And this creates pockets of super low oxygen water that's actually deadly to the fish. So they want to get out of those areas and instead get into areas where there is more stable water. And usually that means finding an area in your lake that's less than 10 foot of water, maybe less than 15 feet depending on your lake. Right now I'm in this little zone that's, again, less than 15 feet. And what I'm looking for in particular right now are isolated pieces of brush, like we just found actually right here, just some new pieces. And these fish are actually on this giant flat. There's no mapping on this lake, but there's a massive flat here that's basically 5 to 10 foot deep, and the shad have stacked on this flat. The problem with fishing on a flat is you're fishing in the middle of the lake, in the middle of basically nothing. And because of that, the fish need to be related to something to make them consistently catchable, unless you just want to chase them around all day, which is actually a viable strategy. But what I've found that's more effective is actually to mark all these isolated pieces of brush out here with my side scan view and target these pieces of brush with baits like a crankbait. You can throw a worm. I've been catching them on a Wacky rig today. That's kind of been my deal. And I actually just caught a fish off of one of these pieces of brush right in here. You can see there's a really nice brush pile right in through here. I'll remark this again right here. It's a really, really nice brush pile. And I just caught a small one off that. It's nothing big. And the thing is this time of year, a lot of fish will kind of get stacked up on these flats, and so you'll have a lot of fish of different sizes. You're gonna have a lot of small fish, some bigger fish, but overall, you're gonna have to weed through a lot of them to put a good bag of fish in the boat. Again, I've caught one solid 3-pounder out here, and then the rest have been pretty small. We can actually see quite a few fish on side scan. I actually found this area because you're seeing all these fish on side scan. You have one here, here, here. We zoom in, you can see these fish are pretty tight to the bottom. Their shadows are right up against the bottom, and those fish are very clear to see on this Lowrance HDS Pro. Some of these though are not bass, and some of these are just shad. So we have a giant ball of shad in the side scan right here, and these fish are chasing the shad right now. And there's a lot of little ones that are chasing around on the shad, though there are a few quality fish here and there. You can see where I dropped all these markers. I actually caught my one quality fish off the bottom, fishing a Wacky rig directly on the bottom of the lake, letting it fall down, and I saw a fish down there. I just shook it in front of that fish and it actually bit. And I have been doing that for a while now because I thought I might be able to replicate that. I had one fish follow a glide bait, but other than that, I didn't really have much success doing that. I just caught that one. So I think we're gonna have to kind of mix it up. There's been some schooling fish. I caught a couple on the top water. I've been doing a bunch of just random stuff, but I think right now my best bet, honestly, is just to find as many of these isolated pieces of cover I can find, because I found two so far, right here, and I've caught a fish off both of them. And that's usually a good sign when you catch fish off the same type of cover in the same area and you've caught two fish doing it. It means that there's a pattern to be had there. The issue on this flat is there's not that much cover. And this is kind of a good thing and a bad thing. The bad thing is it takes a while to find all these isolated pieces of cover, but when you do find them, usually they're going to have fish on them just because there's not that much cover for these fish to get on in general. Not all the fish want to be on cover, some fish want to be roaming around, but I prefer to target the cover in general because it's just a little bit more consistent rather than just randomly going out here with the forward facing, which you can do, and I've had a few bites doing that, but it's not nearly as consistent as finding this brush. The way I graph for the brush is mainly just going through, again, with the side scan. And I'll probably just pull a full side scan at this point because I'm just graphing this flat. I'm not really following a mapping. I'm not following the channel or anything like that. I'm just out here in the middle. I do want to stay in that less than, I guess, 10, maybe out to 15 foot of water at the deepest, because that's where that water is the most stable. You can see there's a lot of fish activity on the side scan. All through here, these are fish. Not all these are bass, because not just the bass like to get out of that deadly low oxygen water. The drum, the carp, the spoonbill, whatever you have in your lake, they all like to get away from it. So it can take a minute at times to weed through them all, especially if you're just looking at them on forward facing. I was curious if I could find some fish actually down by the dam and just find some fish randomly floating around, and I really didn't find anything. There's a piece of brush right here. So that was weird to me. I feel like these fish are really just up on this end of the lake right now. There's a pile of them. It's just because there's so many fish of all species, it's hard to get the bass specifically to bite or to kind of find the bass specifically. So I want to look around, try to find more pieces of cover. Usually this process takes a little while because you do have to graph a considerable amount of water. We have nice balls of shad here and here. I mean, I don't need to mark all the shad. I know there's a lot of shad in this area. If I was just getting in this area, I probably would mark where I'm seeing more shad or not, but I've just been here enough that I know there's shad everywhere. So not as concerned about that. I haven't really made it to this side. You can see there's no waypoints over here. So I'm kind of curious if I can find anything else over here. Maybe there's more brush. I don't know what all the guys on this lake do from planting brush and doing stuff. There's some nice little rock right here and brush. And I'm basically just gonna go to each of these waypoints and fire at them. That's the plan so far. We'll see if that changes if I find anything else crazier as we get over to this side. But I don't expect to find anything too groundbreaking. I think it's just gonna be finding these isolated laydowns. You can fish these without forward-facing sonar. I'm gonna be probably fishing them with forward-facing sonar, but you can just pull up on these things and just throw your waypoints. It's not a big deal. I'm gonna see if I can actually catch them on the top water over here. That'd be kind of cool. Pull those fish up off the tops of these laydowns, but I might also crank some. I might throw a wacky worm still. I don't really know what I'm gonna do, but we're gonna look around. There is a little bit of a deeper ditch right here, which is kind of interesting. It drops off out this side as we get closer to the shore. In here, I think there's a little piece of brush right there. Yeah, another piece of brush. This actually might be where we need to be looking, is more in this little gut here. There's more brush in this area. That big flat over there had a few pieces, but usually guys like to plant the brush more in these like little ditches and channels, just from what I've seen over the years. And it looks like we do have a little bit more activity, or a little bit more brush in this area, so that is good. There's a lot more laydowns. You can see we're getting into a little zone, and it is good to have a decent amount of cover to target, because if you have to go 100 yards between pieces of cover, that's not always the best either. So it's nice to have a little wad right here of cover that guys have probably dropped in the lake. Some of it might be naturally occurring, I don't know. I'm gonna spin back around. We're getting a little bit shallow up here. Not saying the fish can't be up here this shallow. There's actually a little feeder creek all the way in the back here, like way in the back, which I think these fish actually might be getting on too. I'm not really seeing any fish bust, but it kind of seems like the place they would be. I'm gonna get back out here, and I wanna make one more pass a little bit deeper and just mark some more brush. I'll probably just cut that out and then we'll just jump to fishing, because I mean, you kind of already seen the process. This is marking the brush, but I'll see you guys when I find something else. Okay, so let's roll through and fish all this stuff. I'm gonna throw on each piece of cover I see. You can see there's a few fish. Oh my gosh, first cast, oh my gosh. Okay, right on this log right here. That was crazy, guys. I promise you I did not plan that. That's wild, first cast. Okay, this works. Nice fish on that core tackle weedless wacky. That's wild. I have not been catching him that well, so the fact that I caught one first cast right there is crazy. This is the bait I've been throwing mainly today. This has been by far the best producer. It's that core tackle weedless wacky shot. And basically it's a wacky rig where the weight is really close to the worm, and it gives this bait a unique vibration on the fall. And I can also shake the bait and kind of suspend it in the middle of the water column, because it wants to kind of fall away from you. And it works great with forward-facing sonar and without. And I've been able to fish it around these brush piles really efficiently, because I can get it in and around that brush. And because it's a 1/28 ounce weight, it falls really slow, so it can target fish that are suspended, but I can drop it right in the middle of these brush piles. And it's just a really good tool this time of year for targeting fish, really any time of the year, but especially in the fall. I catch a lot of fish on it. And you would think a wacky rig's kind of like a spring deal, which it is. It's a good spring bait, but right now this is kind of my go-to. And honest, oh my goodness, one ate it while I was reeling it in. Maybe I'm hitting like a feeding window, I don't really know. You can see there's a lot of like random fish just scattered about over here. These actually look like they could be bass. There's a lot of these like little bass that are just kind of swimming around, chasing, and sometimes they bite, sometimes they don't. I've been throwing at a few of them, and a lot of them don't react super well. Some of them are not bass at all. So I'm not trying to spend too much time just throwing at random stuff like this that you see on the screen. I'm focused on these isolated pieces of cover, and you can see there's another fish in that piece of cover too. It's right now in front of me here. There's another fish in here. Let's see if we can get him to bite. A lot of these fish are setting pretty tight to the bottom. You can see there's actually a fish on the bottom about 50 feet out. That was how I caught that 3-pounder. It was actually just throwing at a random fish that was on the bottom around this flat. But you can see him swimming at like 40 now. And these fish are just kind of roaming around. But from a consistency standpoint, by far, it's more consistent to target the fish that are actually on the cover versus just like the random swimmers. Because some of these are just catfish and like other stuff. But at the same time, some of these fish that are just on the bottom down here are also quality largemouth. So it's a little bit tricky. It's hard to kind of pass judgment on this of like if I should be casting at every fish I see on the bottom. Oh my gosh, they're schooling in front of me here though. Okay, I need to get another bait out. I need to get the hover rig. There's fish busting right in front of me here. You can see them moving around like 60 foot. Where'd you go? There's that fish who went back down to the bottom. He's at like 50, 60 foot. He was chasing around. Oh, they're chasing right there. Look at them. They're busting on the surface over there. So like these are the random fish that are also just kind of chasing. And I'm hoping, this guy's kind of over the top of one of these piles. But I'm hoping I can catch some of these random fish too. Like there's a bass that's swimming at 40. There's actually several. These are all bass right here. You can see them because they're swimming kind of fast. Got them. There we go. Nice. Okay. They're just chasing around out here. This one ate the hover rig. There's not a lot of big ones. A lot of little guys. This one, 1/8 ounce, 3-aught hover rig with that super fish roller. If you've been watching the channel lately, you'll know I've been throwing this a lot. Choked that thing. As soon as it hit the water, he basically was all over it. And this is kind of my 1-2 punch right now. When they're chasing the shad, I go to the hover rig, 3-aught, 1/8 ounce, 4.2 inch super fish roller. They choke that thing. And then when they're kind of more around the cover, I go to the weedless wacky shot. It's been working pretty well, but there's just not a lot of big ones. That's the issue I'm running into. You can see there's more cover and fish over here. Oh, come on. There's a bunch of them right there. Eat it. Oh, come on. Get it, fish. He had it. Oh, I'm all in him. Come on. He's all over it right at 40 foot. Probably don't need to be messing with them once they miss it. So you get back over to this wad. It's busting. He didn't quite get it. And you can see there's some cover down there. I don't know if these fish are just like rising up off the cover. It's one of the pieces of cover we have marked. If they're rising up off the cover to then come up and eat those shad, and I'm just kind of intercepting them, or what it is. There's some good dots up there. Some of those cannot be bass, right? They're giant marks. Those are giant fish. So we're working that hover rig now over the top of that little deal. I don't like the hover rig as much for fishing around this stuff because it's open hook compared to that weedless wacky. I can kind of drop it in and work it a little bit better. Those fish did not want to cooperate. But as you can see, there's a bunch of brush and a bunch of just stuff all up and in here. I'll pick that weedless wacky back up because I want to be able to fish a bait in that cover really well. This is why we spend some time graphing and marking, because you get around the fish a lot faster compared to just going on this flat randomly. Like, you would probably run into this eventually, but it would take a while. Bait's falling down at 50. Kind of missed my cast slightly. Let's get a little bit more in there. This is gonna be like first cast almost right here. Almost guaranteed on this deal, it feels like. Where these fish are biting right now. And this is what these fish are relating to on these flats. It's really, they can't go. Come on, come on, come on. Come on, he hit it. Get it, fish. Eat it. Follow it down to the bottom and eat it. Golly, I can't believe you didn't eat that. There's some fish are swimming at that pile too. Let me get that hover rig back out. They're swimming right at it. Come on, right over the top of it. Come on, get it. Get it, fish. Come on, there's like 3 of them on it. Eat it. One of you grab it. They hit it like 3 times. Oh, he had it. No, they're little guys. They have to be little guys because they didn't quite get it. There's a ton of them though, and around this pile. My goodness. Oh, come on. There's a few of them on it now. Come on. They're acting like they want it. Don't know where my bait went. Kind of lost it. There it is. Okay, so that can go. I'm gonna throw something else over the top of that. I have this glide bait on. I'm kind of trying to do a 1, 2, 3 punch where I throw the wacky worm, I throw the hover rig, and then when I find a pile that looks really, really good, I'll throw a glide over the top, because you see that really big dot at 60? That looks like a big fish, and There's some big ones in this lake, I've heard. Never caught one, but I've heard there's big ones. I want to keep them honest. So I'm trying to throw stuff like this glide. Come on. I don't think there's anything big enough in that pile to warrant me throwing that thing though, unfortunately. There's a big fish in there. I don't know what it is. There is one really big fish. A couple really big fish. I just don't know what they are. Could be carp or catfish or who knows what. Come on. And those fish are not interested in the slightest in it. Those are probably not bass. 99% sure they're not bass. So they would at least look at the glide. Okay, so glide up. Oh, weedless wacky back out. Let's keep rolling. So, I'm shocked actually I didn't catch a fish on that. I thought I would. There's another piece of, man. I missed a couple of these pieces of brush over here apparently because I didn't have this one marked. Need to keep going down this wall. Ooh, come eat it. He's falling it down. Oh, is he actually falling it down or he just swim? Oh, he's just randomly swimming. What are you? Eat it. These are not bass. I don't know what these are. There's some giant fish over here that are not bass. Don't know exactly what they are. But there is more brush over here. Let's just fire over here. Keep with the pattern. Nope, missed the cast a little bit. Not crazy, but I missed it by a little bit. Nobody's interested in that pile. Let's look around over here just in case I didn't miss anything. And then we have a pile that I kind of skipped over, we gotta go back to. Over this direction. We got some random floaters. While we're going in between piles, I probably should have the hover rig out for the random floaters. Don't know if they're gonna bite or what they are, but it's worth having it out. There's just a bunch of random guys out here. Oh gosh, he went crazy for that. Eat it, fish. My bait hit the water and he started going crazy. Get it, get it, get it. Come on. Oh, he had it. Come on. Get it. There we go. Got him. Oh, it's a good one on the hover rig. There we go. Good fish. Just out here around these, nice, around these piles. Not a big one, but just a good one on that hover rig. 3/8 ounce. You guys are gonna get sick of me throwing it, but it just freaking catches them everywhere I go. So I'm gonna throw it. Beautiful fish. That Raid 4.2 super fish roller. Absolutely chomping on it. You guys have probably seen this already, but again, 3/8 ounce hover rig with that 4.2 inch super fish roller. 3/8 ounce size. There's a bunch of fish right in front of me here, roaming around. Kind of found a little area that has some active fish. You can see they're swimming around even down there. About 10 foot deep. Get down there to them. Come on.
bass? I can't tell. Can't tell if these are bass. Oh, this one is. Come on. Come on. Get it. Ah, he swerved it. It may be that same group that we just caught that fish out of. A lot of times when you catch one out of a group, then the rest kind of get funky. So we'll keep rolling. Okay, we're getting up to another pile that we marked. I do want to look around for a second, see if there's any more random fish roaming around. Well, before we get over here and fish this, okay, so there's that next pile. So back to the weedless wacky. Bait's falling in the center of it right now. It's a weird looking pile. I don't know what that is. This doesn't look like a brush pile. It looks like something else. Looks like a fridge or something. There's a little bit of brush next to it though. There's a fish in it too, in this brush pile. See if he wants to eat. 50 feet out. My bait's falling 50 feet out. Come on, fish. There's a bunch of fish like swimming around in that pile that just like showed up out of nowhere. I don't know what they're doing. Oh my gosh, got him. He followed it to the surface. He chased it all the way to the surface and then ate it. It says you need to work a wacky rig on the bottom. These fish are just biting it like a freaking spinnerbait. The feeding window must have just turned on because I've been struggling today. And now, I kind of got the pattern dialed a little bit before we turned the cameras on, so that helps some, got the area found. But it's not been this easy all day, so definitely a feeding window kicked on. I mean, honestly, right now, this 1-2 punch of the hover rig and then that weedless wacky. So weedless wacky, when you get around the brush more, they still bite it in the middle of the water column, obviously. But the hover rig, I find, is a little bit better when they're just kind of out in the open. And then the weedless wacky on that brush, that's a deadly combo right now. Okay, let's get another bait on here. Just again, 5-inch Yamamoto Senko. And we're just gonna rig that on there. The thing about this weedless wacky is that you just basically twist that bait onto the keeper system we have, and usually you're good for 2 to 3 fish. The Senkos are a little bit kind of softer, so just kind of like a regular wacky rig, you're going to lose more Senkos than you will with other baits. If you go to a bait that's a little bit stiffer, you're going to be probably better off with the weedless wacky in terms of just not losing as many worms. I'm just old school and I love a Senko. I've been throwing them since I was a kid, and I just like to support the original brand and just support the Senko because I love the Senko. So that's why I'm throwing that. Let's get this back on, this little hover rig. This is my 1-2 punch right now. There's more piles around. We can go fish. A couple of fish, they're kind of floating up in front of me here. You can see them right there at 45, 50 foot. They're kind of on the bottom. Here he is, come on. Come on, come on, come on. Come on, I called him up off the bottom slightly. Come on, eat it. These are the fish I've been throwing the wacky worm at and getting them to kind of follow to the bottom and eat it. And they've been eating it a little bit better than the, keep away from him fast. He didn't shoot up. I was kind of surprised. I've been throwing that wacky rig on those same fish and they've been following it down the bottom and eating it. I'll try that real quick. Keep switching baits, but I mean, like that fish there, I don't know if there's a bass that I just threw at, but you swim away, come on. I don't think that's a bass, to be fair. Keep the wacky rig in because I got another fish right over here I can throw at. These fish that are on the bottom are definitely the trickier ones to see, but I figure, man, they're busting in front of me. I figured out that they're a little bit better quality usually. You can target these fish on the bottom. There is one higher up I want to just drop in front of. Nope. So these fish that are on the bottom, you can see one at 40 foot. A lot of these are like a lot better quality fish, like your 3 to 4 pounders. It's just, they set on the bottom like that, and some of them are bass, but a lot of them are carp and drum and other stuff too. So you have to just weed through and cast at so many. And if I was like doing a tournament situation, I probably would just be casting almost exclusively at these big dots that are swimming near the bottom, because that's what the better quality fish are right now. Or that's where they're at. It's so hit or miss on whether they actually bite. A lot of these fish we're actually catching too are on the bottom, and then when the shad come by, they jump up to the surface, which is kind of a weird deal. Another nice brush pile right over here. We may have already fished this brush pile. I feel like I already came back through here. But we'll cast back over here again because it looks really good. See if they already regrouped. I feel like we already fished this brush pile. Yeah, we already fished that one. Let's keep rolling. Got several more. I mean, we have a lot more. We barely got started on this deal. I kind of like this zone though. I mean, this zone, there's a little stick up over here I didn't fish. This zone is definitely, they're very active over here. Right before I turned the cameras on, I caught one. So maybe I don't need to be going back over on that other side. Maybe I just need to be sticking it out right here, because obviously this little zone has got the active fish at the moment. So you don't want to reinvent the wheel too much when you're finding them. Firing on a fish right here. Let's see if he comes up and eats. So that fish is on the bottom. I just put it right in his head. Is it gonna eat? Is it a bass? Oh, he's looking at it. Come on. Come on. Come on. 40 feet out, like he was glued on the bottom. He's looking at it. You can see my bait just hopping. He didn't go for it. That was definitely a bass. They're not all gonna go for it too, obviously. Like, it's still gonna be a certain percentage that don't bite. It seems like they're all biting right now, but, ooh, is that a fish going down on my bait? Seems like they're all biting, but I mean, I had like 1 in 25, 1 in 30 earlier that were biting. So like, I think a feeding window just turned on or something just happened right now where these fish are a little bit more aggressive, but they were not this aggressive, like right before I turned the cameras on. So I don't know exactly what happened to these fish to make them fire like this. Oh, there he is, come on. Oh, it might not be a bass. It might just be might have just coincidentally swam while my bait was coming by. There's a bunch of trash fish around here. There's a fish high up in the water column. I don't know what that is. I need to move this stuff over here for a second because I keep reaching for my rod and it's not where I want it to be. Okay, let's fire at this thing and see if we can get him to bite. Come on. That's a bass right there. He's gonna get it. Come on. Come on. Got him. There we go. Nice. On the hover rig. Oh my gosh. Come on, fish. Don't do that to me. He kind of got spooked for a second, and then he came back and he absolutely choked it. Oh my gosh. Look at that fish on that hover rig. Look how he got that thing. If you guys aren't throwing a hover rig right now, literally is hover rig season. This is the perfect time to throw a hover rig. Now through the really cold months when they get really deep, the hover rig is the main player right now. And that 4-inch bait That super fish roller is the perfect size bait. I think that there's very few guys throwing this bait, so these fish bite it like they've never seen it before. It's working really well for me. I've thrown it in a lot of videos, so apologies on that one. It's just, when you have a bait that's working, you don't not throw it. And you just gotta throw what the fish are biting, obviously. Thought that was a fish. Those really big dots down there, some of those are just not bass. They have to be giant carp and drum and just stuff. Other stuff. There's another brush pile. I fired that hover rig across it first cast just to see. Did not not cast that far enough. There's definitely some fish around this pile though, my goodness. Come on, fish. Come on. One of you come get it. Nope. No dice for the hover rig. Let's see if the weedless Wacky gets one excited. Something about that bait falling super slow past their face sometimes, I feel like just triggers some of these fish to bite that won't bite the other baits. It's weird how that goes. Miss that cast. They're busting all over right now too. Come on. I know you guys are looking at it. Eat it. Eat it. Those fish do not want it. Interesting. It's all good. Got another pile right here. Got pile after pile after pile right now. It's just constant in this area. It's good. It's what we need. This looks like it could be one right here. Come on. You gotta want to eat that. Come on, fish. Here he comes. Come on. Eat it. Eat it. Drop it down to the bottom. Let's see if he eats it off the bottom. It's right in their face. Pick it up. Oh, he had it in his mouth. Dang it. I literally just pulled it out of his mouth. As I lifted it up there, he had it, and I pulled it right out of his mouth. That sucks. Oh. These bass? He followed it like it was a bass. And they're busting over there again. Okay, next brush pile. Man, they're going crazy over there. Back in that corner. Wow, this brush pile is big. Oh, I remember, I already fished this one. This is where I caught the fish right before I turned the cameras on. It was like 30 minutes ago though. Maybe one of these fish will bite again. This is a massive pile. Kind of want to get back over there where those fish are busting. I might go just fish this pile. It's the last pile in this row, and then go back over there because there's enough fish schooling around in this area that I kind of don't want to leave necessarily too quick because there are definitely fish to be caught here. I did catch one out of this pile earlier, so if I don't catch one here, it's not super surprising, but this is a pile that had a fish. So I'm not gonna get too worried about this one, because I literally just fished it a minute ago. Let's get back over here. I'm just curious, because like those fish are going crazy. They're busting, schooling. Take the hover rig back out, just see if I can catch a couple more. This is the most active little area. And a lot of times when you're using forward-facing sonar, it's all about just finding a little zone. And like this zone, for whatever reason right here, is really active. There's a lot of fish up and busting and moving. I mean, they're not like big ones, but when you're fishing in the fall, turnover, all that stuff, like we mentioned, you just have to weed through them. And eventually, I mean, sometimes you just randomly pull up and you just catch like a 5-pounder doing this. And it's just kind of a, it's kind of weird. I don't know exactly how to explain it other than that you just kind of have to weed through them. Oh, come on. Oh my gosh, there he is. As soon as that bait hit the water, that fish came up to grab it. That's wild. These fish are just so aggressive right now. There we go. I mean, that fish hit the water and he came up and smacked it. I almost think I could catch him on the top water right now. This super fish roller holds up so well too. I've caught so many fish on it and it's still holding up. I really like that. Part of me wants to try to throw top water just because it would be fun. The other part of me wants to just keep throwing this hover rig because they're eating it. We will see. Have a clear top water on. Just keep looking around, just looking for little dots. Not gonna worry about hitting the brush because we already fished the brush, so I'm just gonna look in between and around the brush. I saw them busting further back in this corner, further than we went earlier. We fished all this brush, so don't worry about that. We're just gonna ignore it for a second. Get this re-rigged really quick, make sure we're ready. Couple of fish right there. Missed the cast. What are you two doing down here? Oh my gosh, come on. He came and hit it. He didn't get it though. Little guy. Probably should switch out my minnow here. It's kind of falling apart. Let me see if I can re-rig it. Here's how you would rig this hover rig. This bait's all mangled, but all you do is you put that bait through the top, kind of close to the nose, but on top of the bait. Then you rig it through all the way down, and then you push it up the keeper we have, and then you pull the nose over and then stick the cone right like that, and that keeps all the weight internally weighted. I think I can get another fish out of that. Maybe. Should be good. Let's get one more. Baits aren't cheap, so don't want to go through too many of them. There's a fish up there. These individual little dots are almost all bass, which is kind of crazy because normally this time of year you get a lot of groups. These fish are not grouping. They are just like ones and twos. It's kind of strange. I'm getting pretty shallow up here. Is that fish gonna come eat it? No. What are these fish? What are these? I feel like those don't look like fish. I think they're these little floating things. Yeah, it's just floating debris, it looks like. I'm getting pretty shallow here, I will say. Well, there were a few fish just kind of, oh, there's one. Interesting. I almost want to go to that full other side. Oh my gosh, that's a good brush pile. Let me poke at that with this Wacky. It's a really good looking brush pile. Come on, fish. Oh, they're like busting on the surface. Come get it, fish. Come on, it's right there, 40 feet. 5 or 6 of them looking at it. Didn't want it. Hover rig, maybe? Or to keep the thing high. Any of you guys want it? Chasing right in front of me here. Where'd you go? Interesting. There are a few fish just chasing right in front of me here. There's one more little log over here. We'll throw at this thing. They're busting all the way up there against the bank. That's crazy. A little log thing here. There were fish on it. They didn't come up and wreck my bait, I'll tell you that much. Fish just passed it though. Getting pretty close to it, to be fair. Any of you guys want to eat? Come on, eat it, fish. They're looking at it. Just staring at it. Eat it, pick it up, eat it. I got a little bit too close on that deal. I'm literally right here. Let's, I'm gonna idle just across because I want to go to that other side, that other ditch, just to see if there's any fish over there. Because I mean, we're kind of getting too shallow over here, but I want to find that the same situation, but it basically is another ditch. This is a little ditch, the ditch on the other side. Let's go try that out. Okay, so I just hopped across to the other side of the lake here, and I'm actually starting a little bit deeper in like 14 foot of water and making my way into this little cut. I just want to see if there are any fish that are setting up a little bit further out here. I never really looked at this too much. I see a lot of bait and a lot of just stuff. I don't see any bass necessarily. And it will be interesting if I get over here and I don't really catch much. It'll be interesting just for the fact that it seems like that zone over there was like full of fish and there was a lot of life and activity. And if there are fewer fish over here, it just goes to show that you really need to focus on finding that key little area versus necessarily just finding like the bait or the right cover mix. Because, I mean, there's a lot going on the screen right here. A lot of shad, a lot of stuff. I just don't see anything that I would consider bass yet. This is just all... There might be a few fish that are like way down there on the bottom. Like super far down there. But none of these fish that I'm like throwing at right now are bass. They're just, I think big gizzards, or there might be, I have no idea what they are, to be honest. All this stuff that's swimming around is just stuff. So we are kind of getting up more into the depth range we need to be in. We are a little bit deep for what we've been finding them in. So maybe when we get up to the shallower water with all these laydowns, we'll be in business. I'm not really seeing all that much out here though. So just kind of interesting how that happens, where there's little zones, little deals that are really good and then others that aren't. Not seeing anything still. Be like one fish right there finally. There's a couple. Missed them. Those are 2 fish swimming right there. Two bass, come on. No, they may not have been bass. They weren't very active, I can tell you that much. They didn't like shark it like those other fish. Okay, so we're getting up to our first lay down though. You can see this nice tree over here. A little bit deeper still though. So I don't know if that's our issue right now. There are quite a bit of, there are a lot of shad in this area. There are some fish around it. Just throw this hover rig down there. See if anyone is home. Nope, nobody came to play. Okay, let's move a little bit shallower then. We got a bunch of laydowns here all the way to the back of this gut. Maybe we really need to need to be in that shallower water. Or 12 foot just might be a little bit deep for the bass right now, which is really weird. But not gonna force the fish to be somewhere. So one of the brush piles we marked right here. There's just a little lay down. Nothing on it. Wow, that's crazy, guys. Maybe we're still gonna get into them though. I'm not gonna rule it out quite yet. There's a fish right there. Come on, there he is. Get it, fish, get it. Get it, come on. Shake rod tip down, no? Come on, get it, fish, get it. Oh, you're still all over it, get it. My goodness, he didn't go for it, but he's still on it. There's brush up here though now. We throw out this brush pile with the Wacky shot. That was interesting. So he got pretty excited about it. He didn't crush it though, unfortunately. Where'd that piece of brush go? Here it is. Getting a little bit close on it. Let's get back over here. Where did we mark? We marked some brush on both sides of us over here. There were a few fish that looked like they were just setting up over here though. On the bottom. Right over there. You see I just landed that bait? Fish kind of moved like it was a bass, to be honest. It's at 60 foot. It's a couple more. Interesting. Okay. Well, there was one fish over here at least. It looked like a halfway decent one too. It didn't look like it was tiny. Let's see if we can find another stick up or something. A lot of these pieces of brush I marked are very tiny. Not nearly as good as that last stretch by quite a big margin in terms of the quality of the brush. It's a nice fish right there. Didn't quite make it. 80 foot right there. There it is, decent cast. Kind of spooked him, but he's on it now. Come on, get it. Fall to the bottom and eat it. That fish is all over that bait. He's following it all the way to the bottom. Hopefully he eats it off the bottom. There's 2 of them there, 2 decent ones. Come on. Sometimes they follow it to the bottom and crush it, and the other times they just don't. Stay with them maybe, and they might eat the hover. There's a couple of fish coming right at us. Oh, come on, there they are. One of them, get it, fish. Man, they're not as aggressive over here. Oh, I have a knot in my braid. No. Oh, it came out. Okay, good. That line is pretty frayed up though. That's not ideal, but we'll deal with it for now. Oh gosh, there they are. It's busted. I'm gonna pick up this top water. One just blew up right over here. I'll try to get over here and see what they were doing. Got that top water out to see if maybe I can get one to go on top. Well guys, my camera's about to die, so I'm gonna end the video here. Had a blast finding him on this offshore flat, cracked him in this video, and didn't catch any big ones, but it's a lot of fun getting out in the fall and catching some fish. Caught most of the fish on the hover rig, 3/8 1/8 ounce. You've already seen it in some past videos. I'll link all this stuff down in the description, all my gear and all that. And also caught some fish on that weedless Wacky shot with the Yamamoto Senko. So all that stuff is linked down in the description if you want to check it out. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, leave a comment down below and also like the video and subscribe to see more Fish the Moment content like this. See you guys in the next video.